See, this is how you work things out, is if you're going to run a little bit late, you just kind of smile and then you listen and you'll hear a little bridge and then we get to the final note. It always works so well. I saw this and went, and I was talking with Dennis. We played golf on Friday. It reminded us of a guy we played with. We're reminded that actions speak louder than words, though not as often. Live your faith. Live your faith. And there will be less need to speak of it. Oh, there's a lot of people going, These are fun things to find. What's really fun is when we come together. Let's stand, join together, and sing in the silence.
Secret meeting place, love is there. In the silence, where every color blends, and every rainbow ends, good is there. In the light, you'll find that you know peace of mind.
In this moment, love is here, peace is here, truth is here, God is here. And we take a moment and acknowledge His presence. O loving Father, Mother God, this day we acknowledge your presence moving in and through us. In this moment, we choose to be open and receptive and responsive to your instruction and to your guidance. This day, we are grateful for the opportunity to come together, to worship, to sing, and to pray in the name, in the nature, in the power of the Christ. Amen.
Today's daily word is healing, and this morning Sally will read our daily word for us.
The word is healing. I am renewed in God's healing light. Just as each day dawns anew, I am renewed in body, mind, and spirit with every breath I take. Whatever ill feelings I may experience, physical or emotional, they pass through me with ease. I observe any discomfort or pain and any thoughts or feelings I have in response. Then I let it all go. I think Rob goes like this, does he not? I stop myself from creating unproductive stories about my health. Instead, I pay attention to the light of God within. Healing light illuminates my being, revealing and healing whatever needs to be revealed and healed. I imagine the first light of dawn cascading over me and radiating through me. I lift my eyes to a new horizon of well-being. My body is strong, my mind is at peace, and my spirit is one with the light of a new day. Hallelujah. From Isaiah 58:8, then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly.
one of the things that's really important to do is just to allow life to work through you. And yeah, you set things in motion and you plan and work and step out in your truth, and then let God work. And when you do that, everything you need shows up. That which you need emotionally, physically, spiritually shows up. You just got to allow it. Num, 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 num. And one of the ways we do that is we remember who we are. And we give power to who we are through our word. Let's take our affirmation together. I am a child of the living God. I have within me the all-creating power of the Christ. It radiates from me and blesses all whom I contact. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am now in the presence. Let's rest into that as we join with Steve. I believe in you. I believe. I trust. I have faith. Holding to these words of the truth of me, gently now, easily, we move to that place within us that Jesus called our inner closet, our secret place. And this day, as we enter in, we close the door. We close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I should have done. We close the door on those thoughts and feelings of what I have yet to do this day. And for one holy moment, we rest. And we listen. In our prayers, we are learning to ask, believing. It is here in the stillness, in the silence, where answers come. This day, perhaps, in a song, a word, a phrase, regardless of how it comes to you this day, know that each and every gift comes wrapped in love. This day, I choose to say yes. I reach out. claim these gifts. All my needs are met, and I am grateful. This day, I immerse myself in the truth of my oneness. And as I do so, each and every cell of my being responds. I am re-energized, renewed. In this moment, whole and free. I remember, I am a channel through which good flows into my world. And in this moment, I choose to open that channel wide. Through me, from me, good flows first into this place, touching each and every one of God's children. And in this moment, I am blessed. These thoughts of like mind come together and grow in strength and in power and move from this place into our community, wherever that might be this day. Touching, healing, blessing each and every one of God's children. I choose to continue to be a blessing from me, through me, across our city, across our state, touching, healing, blessing each and every one of God's children. And in that moment, I am blessed. I choose to continue to be a blessing across our country. Touching, healing, blessing. Reaching out. Reminding each and every one of us, regardless of appearance, I am there. Peace is there. Love is there. Around our world, throughout our universe, touching, healing, blessing each and every one of God's children. Remembering in spirit we are never separate one from the other. Somewhere, somewhen, someone is saying thank you. For in this moment, the gift which has come through you, from you, is gratefully received. And that gratitude swells up and returns to you. The circle of life, whole and complete. I breathe it. I live in it and rest for one holy moment. Knowing there is more yet for me to do this day, holding to this experience we have just shared, gently now, easily, I bring my attention back to this place, to this now, and join with you and pray as Jesus, our elder brother, has taught us when he said, "As for you, pray therefore in this manner." Gentlemen, start your engines. That's what that feels like sometimes. Everything in your life, everything in your life has brought you to this moment. Regardless of what you labeled it, what brought you to this moment is good. And you get to choose what that means for you. And as you grow in understanding of who you really are you can look at your experiences and say, these things occurred in my life, and I choose to name them good because they brought me to where I am right now. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes, because sometimes we hold on to stuff that we think isn't so good. Sometimes it happens, on our television. How many of you have talked to somebody this week who said this, I never turn on the TV anymore? Well, anybody that says never or always, you always smile and love them. But I know what they're talking about. Because there's so much that comes this direction that seems to be contrary to what we would like to see in our world in the form of peace and in harmony and love and so forth and so on. It seems to be in contradiction to that. And we can very easily succumb to holding, as one person told me for the first time in a long time, I went to the dark side. I went, thank you, Darth. But I know what they're talking about. Is I turned away from the light, is really what we're talking about. And then I turned away from the truth of who I am. And that's scary sometimes because we're not always sure how we feel about that. And the saving grace is that just because there's a cloud doesn't mean the sun isn't there. Okay? So I have the opportunity then to breathe and rest and turn back to the light, if you will. And that's this balancing act I want to talk about a little bit this morning. This is kind of the time of the year when it fits, too, in that we're going into graduation season. And I heard this on the news this week, and I thought it was fascinating. In the state of Oregon, a 4-year college degree, on average, takes 7 years. Now, don't ask me why a 4-year degree takes 7 years on average, but that's the numbers, okay? I didn't realize that all the Oregon universities were without much party stuff, but that's another story. But it reminded me of other things that are going on in my world that I want to take a look at and say, okay, I need to make some rethinking on my part about what is going on in my world and about what is normal and what is average, and choose not to live there. I choose to be extraordinary. Thank you very much. And humble. Because I know who I am. And I believe what I've been taught. And see, you're sitting in the presence, right in this building, of vision come true. A vision that began long before I ever showed up here. One that began for this valley in the mid-50s. When Catherine Bosworth decided that this would be a good place for her to open a ministry. And in 1957 did that right here after having been ordained as a unity minister. And we've been in business in this valley since then. And things have changed just a hair. And the vision has changed. This building began somewhere else and was moved here so that you and I would have a place to be today. The stained glass windows that we enjoy on both sides of our building were ideas that came into fruition through what? The power of word and action. Not just the thought and the feeling, but word and action. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we spend so much time trying to visualize and learn, we forget to do. It's kind of the Nike thing. Don't think about it, just do it. And I've met people like that. I have a relative who fits that description, who for 15 years is working on his 4-year degree. But then, you have to take breaks and travel. I mean, there's a youth hostel somewhere in the world that he hasn't visited yet. Just ask him, he'll tell you. But it's his choice, and I love him. But he's so busy learning about, he forgets to act and do what he's learned. And we fall prey to that sometimes. And generally it starts with this: if I could find the right book and just read that, then I'd have it. If I could find the right teacher and just spend some time with that teacher, then I write my list down. Guess what? You already have it. How many gods? For those of you who have a doubt, one. Okay. One mind. This one that is all is perfect. Life, love, intelligence, and substance. Man, you and I, is the expression of God, and therefore one with perfect life, love, intelligence, and substance. So, reach out. Claim your inheritance. This is what it comes down to. I gave you all this stuff. Claim it. Put it to work in your life. It's here for you. You have the ability to form it. These windows, this building, began as idea, as thought, coupled with feeling, coupled with word. One day, we will be in a building of our own. I know that statement. I wasn't there, but I know that statement was made in the Holly Theater. I know it was made, because that's where they first met. It was in the Holly Theater. One day, we'll have our own building. That came to pass. One day, one day, one day. Every day is one day. I start the picture. I begin the thought and feeling. I give the power of my word. And then I take the action to do it. And when you do that, fun stuff shows up. I just got to tell you, it's just amazing. When we were talking about this project, I may have shared some of this with you before on the stained glass. We looked at this and I said, what would really be cool is to find the artist that did this. And I scoured our records. I mean, I went through boxes in the basement, which we don't have one of, which gives you a clue how far I went. And I couldn't find anything. I found about the dates, and we talked to people who were here, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't working. I went, it's okay. We'll find out. And I went to Source, and Source said, you have an awful lot of people that you talk to on a regular basis that are artists. And I'll bet you they'll know somebody who could do this. And they talked one to the other. And I came up with a list of names. And on the top of that list was the fellow who did those three. And did those two. Because we found him. We, collectively. But it began with a vision. And with determination of what I would really like. Now, I have to tell you that things show up as you go along and you kind of go, yeah, I don't know. But you just put back in faith, and you put back in faith. You keep stepping out. You're saying, this vision will come to pass. It will come to pass. And when I will allow God to work through me, it'll come in even better than I had originally visioned. And it does. Time after time after time. Because as I take in what I need to learn this day, or remember, mostly. One of my teachers said early on in my studies. I am here to remind you of what you already know. I'm here to remind you of what you already know. You already know you are a beloved child of God. That is the truth of you. And I'm just here to remind you. You already know that you have the ability to do anything because you have been taught through God all things are possible. You know that. I just need to remind you because you and I are caught up in this stuff that comes in out here all the time. We forget to come back to within and come from within out. So we're remembering. That's what balance is all about. And the next piece that goes with that is learn how to forgive yourself for your transgressions. Generally, it begins with this thought, oh, I know better than that. Anybody besides me said that this week? I know better than that, right? We just forget, it's okay, and I need to give myself permission. That in this moment, oops, an error. However, I remember who I am, I breathe, and I center, and I take the next step. Whatever that next step is for me. And I can do it without fear. I've been working with that one big time this week. So for those of you who have removed yourself from fear and only into concern, good start. And when you go from concern to just a little worried, okay, you're heading in the right direction. But it's all still fear. Let it go. And remember what you've been taught. Fear not, for I am with you always. There's nowhere you can go where God is not. So no matter where you are, you're in that presence when you'll just go, yep, here we go, Lord, thank you. I was speaking with somebody the other day who was having a real challenge health-wise. And I said, would you like a prescription for faster recovery? And she said, you betcha. I said, I need to ask a question then. She said, what's that? I said, have you thanked the illness? What? Well, yeah, you say you've got a cold. Have you said thank you for the cold? No, why would I do that? Well, it's your cold. Take ownership of it. Nobody gave it to you. Be thankful for what you have. Here's what happens. The second you go into gratitude, you transform the negative to the positive. Now, it may take a bit to get there, several verses of that. And it's okay. But when I begin with that, I go right now into the present, say, thank you, Lord, for this expression. Okay, what am I going to do with the expression? Well, you have the opportunity to learn how to heal yourself. I heard this one this morning and I went, okay, here's another reminder. War doesn't solve anything. Conflict doesn't solve anything. It seems to be a human condition. I'll buy into that. But it's not the solution. So anytime, why would it be a surprise then if you had a war on something like, let's take the war on drugs. Why is it such that we've lost that war? Because wars don't solve anything. The war on poverty was the one they were talking about this morning. Millions and gazillions of dollars thrown at, and I love that languaging too, war. And then I heard a voice, and the voice said, we need to change our thinking from throwing things at a problem and look at solving the problem. Look for the solution. And sometimes the solution is real close to you. While this sounds a little discompassionate on the surface, the best thing you can do for a poor person, don't be one. That's the first thing. Don't be one. Okay? The second thing you can do is see past the notion of lack or limitation, which is a label that we say poor, rich, poor, in between. It's just manifestation of our truth, yes? I need to get back into balance. And that's what happens when we turn away, collectively, as we turn away from our truth, things have the tendency to show up. Our Bible's full of it. Time after time, where the children of Israel have turned away from their beliefs. And as a result, there's issues they have to deal with. You do that, and I do that the same way. Doubt creeps into it. And it's in the newsletter today. I share it with you because I think it's only fair that you should know that we're all in the same place. That we all go through these things. Where you'll look at something and you'll go, everybody does. However, when you have a tool that allows you to get away from that, you need to learn the tool. Here's the tool. When this stuff shows up, it's not the truth of me, is the question I ask. Is this the truth of me? And the answer is no, 99% of the time. If it isn't based in love, it isn't based in truth, not the truth of me. So I let it go, and I breathe, and I say, Rob, I love you. So I want you to take your name and add that piece together. Rob, I love you. You got it? Talking to yourself? Little dialogue? Okay, good. I bless you. Together? I bless you. Breathe. I appreciate you. Together? I appreciate you. Breathe. In this moment, I behold the Christ. Together? I behold the Christ. And in that moment, you're in balance.
Thank you for listening. Please feel free to pass this message along to your friends and family. You can obtain additional audio tapes or CDs by visiting our website or by calling our office at 541-772-6902. We invite you to join us in prayer. We know that prayer works, and now you can send your prayer request to our prayer team here at Christ Unity Church by using the form on our website. The activities, programs, and services of this ministry are presented on a love offering basis. All gifts, regardless of size, are gratefully accepted. You may participate either by sending your gift to Christ Unity Church, 540 North Holly Street, Medford, Oregon, 97501, or by visiting us on the internet at www.unitymedford.org.